Since I can remember, I wanted kids, like, quite young. Like, everyone that I meet now that knew me as a child are always like, of course you've had it, like, of course you have a baby. It's just something that's been in my heart since I was tiny. The big smile.
As Anna Camille Tucci cuddles her newborn, the 30-year-old remembers when she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer in 2017, and her dreams of having a baby were thrown off course.
It was devastating. Knowing that I had to have a hysterectomy and take everything out it was hard. It was hard thinking that I wouldn't be able to have my own baby that was genetically mine, and even the thought of not being able to carry, that was really difficult.
Her dream of becoming a mom finally came true just before Christmas last year when she had a baby through a surrogate. But she can't shake lingering questions about the money she ended up paying throughout the pregnancy. It's against the law to pay a surrogate in Canada. You can only cover her pregnancy-related expenses.
And so the grocery column is pretty high. It's at it's over $700 every month, and so that's a little. We question that because, you know, the two of us together, I don't think we spend that much on groceries, and this is supposed to be for one person.
This is the expense breakdown she was given by her surrogacy agency. In a legal contract, Tucci agreed to reimburse the surrogate up to a max of nearly $2,000 a month. Each month, the surrogate would submit receipts to the agency, who would then reimburse her with Tucci's money.
So we thought that though she would never really actually meet that max that we had in the contract. But we found out that that's not true. So every month she was managing to meet that max. I felt very conflicted because here we were having this great experience, and then we're showed this financial side, and we're kind of wondering, you know, how are these receipts getting this high, and what is happening in the background there? How can she make that max every single time?
Tucci asked for the receipts that had been reimbursed, but her agency told her it was their policy to not provide receipts until after the pregnancy.
No one wants to be in a situation where they're caught doing things that they weren't supposed to be doing without even knowing.
During our investigation, we found 4 other families with similar concerns. The law says reimbursements for a surrogate cannot be a disguised form of payment. And if you break that rule, the penalty is harsh. It can land you behind bars for 10 years or a $500,000 fine. One father we spoke to paid $5,000 in reimbursements for his surrogate, even though she miscarried in the first month.
And then we have roughly $1,500.
We reviewed his surrogate's receipts with his lawyer.
With this one, for example, when we look at the date, that's months prior to the surrogate ever even meeting your client. And we found hundreds of dollars worth of receipts like this.
Groceries. So these are her groceries. Communications and groceries, all perfectly reimbursable, but they have to be related to the surrogacy, and these are clearly not.
We also found some that looked like this. They're the exact same receipt, submitted twice on separate days.
Yes, so 2 different photographs. So it doesn't seem to be the agency making it up. It seems to be, you know, the surrogate submitting it twice. You know, perhaps give her the benefit of the doubt that she made a mistake, but it's the kind of thing that should have been caught by the agency. So it certainly looks like no one is being tasked with the job of looking at them critically.
What about this receipt? Do you see that second item there?
I can't read it. Oh, a lottery ticket. Yes, all right. I don't see how lottery tickets are reimbursable expenses.
When you see all of this, what's going through your mind?
You know what? If a woman gives up a year of her life, I have no problem with compensating her for that. But given that we do have legislation that says that we are not permitted to pay her a fee, we have to play within the rules. And this is not playing within the rules. So it's putting everybody at risk.
The 5 families who raised concerns about reimbursements worked with the same agency, Canadian Fertility Consulting, or CFC.
Hi, everybody.
Its owner, Leah Swanberg, is the only person in Canada to have been charged for paying surrogates. In 2013, she pleaded guilty to paying surrogates without receipts and was fined $60,000. Hi, it's Chris Glover. Early on in our investigation, Swanberg told CBC her business has changed.
You know, it was a very relaxed system, and now it is not. I will not take that risk for any client or any surrogate. And so I am extremely diligent with my team.
Swanberg has since refused to comment on the specific concerns we found, but we've uncovered this exchange between a surrogate and Swanberg's Facebook account, encouraging the surrogate to save receipts from everyone in her household. The message is from after Swanberg was charged in 2013, but before the court case had finished. And we've spoken with more recent CFC surrogates. Many surrogates we spoke to said they tried their best to keep their costs low so they didn't hit their monthly expense limit. But we did speak with other surrogates whose voices we've disguised because they fear a backlash from the surrogacy community. They said that CFC encouraged them to save as many receipts as possible so that they would ensure that they hit their monthly maximum.
You just save all of your receipts from the second you're matched. Doesn't matter, anything, you save it, and then it goes into what's called a cushion, and that you will be reimbursed your full monthly amount every single month. They don't question it, apparently. So it's a little shady, like a lot shady. Even before you're pregnant, you have like a kind of like a virtual bank account of your receipts, so it wouldn't be considered pregnancy receipts, I guess. And now I feel absolutely treacherous. Like, it's not that I regret my last two journeys, but it pulled at the heartstrings, that's for sure.
Swanberg also won't comment on these surrogates' allegations. In the past couple decades, at least a dozen private surrogacy agencies have opened across Canada. They're unlicensed and compete to recruit and retain surrogates to connect them with clients. And while many of these experiences are positive, we did speak with one surrogate who said arguments with her couple reached a breaking point.
So it got to the point that, like, it was just, we were fighting over everything. Chris, it was horrible. They nickeled and dimed for everything. They didn't want to pay for they didn't want to reimburse for the car payments. They didn't want to reimburse for the telephone. They didn't want to reimburse for takeout meals. It was bad. Like, they were, like, seriously nitpicking and everything. It was just bullshit after bullshit. And I was like, okay, I'm done. I was going to abort the baby. It was, at that point, I was so done. Like, because a breach of contract is a breach of contract. They breached it by not paying me, so I figured, well, I'm not going to follow the rules and breach the contract.
So that's exactly what you don't want to happen, right?
Leviton says parents have little power to challenge reimbursements.
If you're an intended parent and you suspect that a surrogate is being coached, that she's submitting receipts that perhaps might not be entirely appropriate, do you want to know? Do you really want to be put on actual notice? Because then what are you going to do? She's 26 weeks pregnant with your child.
In June, Health Canada will introduce long-awaited regulations on the reimbursement surrogates can claim. But many say that won't fix the problems we've uncovered, especially because agencies will still not be required to allow parents to review receipts prior to reimbursing them. Leviton says the better strategy would be to decriminalize paying surrogates so parents feel empowered to speak up against suspected wrongdoing without fear of legal ramifications. While Tucci continues to wait for her receipts, she says something has to change to give parents access to the receipts during the pregnancy.
Because it puts us in such a vulnerable situation because, again, at the end of the day, all we want is that baby and we'll do anything for it. And whatever we end up paying, we'll just have to pay because that's just part of the industry at this point.